Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Ryan, listen up. A beautiful Friday, Ryan. We hope everyone is enjoying the holiday weekend, July 4th. And that's kind of like the UConn Huskies colors, Ryan, right? Kind of. I'm looking at a picture here of KK Arnold and Paige Beckers jumping up in the air together, flexing. You know what I mean, Ryan? Kind of like me and you on the football field, right? Yeah. And this one's titled Why UConn Women's Basketball Team Chemistry is Clicking on All Cylinders this offseason. And this is by the great Maggie Benoni again from CT Insider. We appreciate all of their support of these UConn women. You know, Ryan, I told you this morning we had to go on, or today rather, because not only these beautiful colors they don every game, right? Red, white, and kind of dark blue. But look, discussing the off season, and pretty much it's over. I can't see any players leaving. I cross my fingers. I hope not. I cannot see any more players coming into the program before the new season starts. And you told me the same thing. Pretty much the off season is wrapped up. I think we have a little bit more time of summer workouts, and then the classes start, the fall semester, and along with that comes November basketball. All right, so Ryan, with that said, you and I are going to grade the offseason. What grades A, B, C, D, F? Hardly any D's or F's ever in the history of UConn women's basketball program. So I hope, Ryan, that you don't have a D or F written down on your paper. With that said, we're going to go over our biggest one or two moves of the offseason. And then, again, grade at the end. Go over some comments. Like always, they came through very well again, Ryan. We thank you. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment away. So, Ryan, very quickly before I turn it over to you, I thought to myself, man, this is weird because I thought that we're going to talk about Ryan and I, like maybe, one of the biggest moves, Sarah Strong coming to the program, biggest off-season moves. Right here, Maggie brought out a good point, Ryan. Something that's really flying under the radar, I think, every offseason. And this year seems like it's one of the biggest team chemistry and team bonding off the court. This article, Ryan, beautiful article. I mean, they go into so many different activities that you'll go over for us today. And that, I think, is definitely a big calling of what success is all about. I like the end. Shade said, I would say it's amazing right now, Shade said, of the team chemistry. I think we're all like clicking on all cylinders. I don't really think we missed a beat coming back. And I think I think we all have the same goal, same mindset of like how we feel about how last season ended and where we want to go this season.
Yeah, when I read that article this morning, it made me smile. It made me in a good mood because it really was a good article, and I'll get to it in just a little bit. But happy 4th, of course, to everybody. A little belated. We wanted to go on yesterday, the day before, didn't really get a chance to. But I hope everybody had a good 4th of July yesterday. If you celebrated it, hope you had some good burgers and dogs and watched some good fireworks, all that good stuff. But let's get into a little bit of this off-season talk. Of course, we did unfortunately lose 4 players during the off-season. 2 went to the W, Nika and Aaliyah, and 2 went into the portal, Amari and Ines. But I really don't think UConn could have done a much better job than what they did to put another championship caliber roster together. Caitlin Chen was the perfect player to pick up in the portal. I think she's going to fit perfectly into the system. And the 3 new freshmen coming in, Sarah Strong, Ali Zabel, and Morgan Shelley, they were all top 15 recruits. And from the articles that I've read, it seems like they're all bonding with the team, and I already feel like they're at home here in Stores. Sarah Strong did miss the majority of the summer workouts because she was playing on the U18 national team for the U.S., who did win the gold, so it was definitely worth it, so congrats to her. But I don't really think that'll affect her too much. Of course, like you mentioned, they still come back to campus and have a little bit of time to, of course, get some more workouts in before November. And, of course, we also have the returning players, Aubrey and Paige, coming back for their final seasons, and also the handful of players that are coming back off of those injuries that caused them to miss the end of last season. And of course, the article by Maggie Vanoni, I really did love the article. Like I said, clicking on all cylinders, talking about the team chemistry. I talked about the players spending a majority of their time off the court with each other, either in one another's apartments, doing different activities, building Legos, doing TikTok dances, social media stuff, cookie crumble testing, little crocheting too. So we got a little bit of everything in there. These different activities, bonding together. I love to see that, and of course, going out and doing different things, going to games and concerts. I saw so. A lot of good stuff in there, and of course the veterans helping out the newcomers with the first couple weeks too. So Paige also said during her 4 years, the team has always been very close like this. So that's great news to hear. And you can tell it's like one big family. They're all in this thing together. So I hope that translates into, again, a lot of success this season.
All right, so that takes us down into this. According to CT Insider, the Huskies returned 10 players. However, Ryan, 5 of those missed at least half of the season due to injury. So rebuilding the team's chemistry, this article says off the court, according to Maggie, helps transitions back onto court. Knowing they have their teammates' support and confidence. So, all right. So with that said, what I'm trying to tell you is, Ryan, grades. Make sure we don't forget that, because let's go over our top moves from this off season, and then we will go to comments and then grade at the end. Oh man, I want to say I'm concerned only because of what I just read you. 5 of those players missed at least half of the season due to injury. So, big question mark. We all know these players are great. All right, I get that. But Ryan, how will they build that success together? They have already done it off the court. We can see that. So, but again, that doesn't really go into our grading at the end of this video. Unfortunately, it's the moves that you make, the moves during the off season. Ryan, outside of them getting Sarah Strong, which I'll go ahead and tell you now, that is my, no disrespect to Caitlin Chen. Back about 2 months ago, Caitlin Chen committed to UConn. I think the biggest move that, and maybe I'm a little bit biased because she's #1 recruit, right? And all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, after I watch the highlights and stuff, I think the biggest off-season move is Sarah Strong, period. I mean, that's where I think the grade really bumps up for me. But I want to talk to you about this and get your take, because don't tell me your grade yet, and don't tell us your grade, but what do you think? Because we're not so used to UConn making off-season splashes, transfer portals now. We're not used to transfer portals, but now we are, something new that's come along. How is that going to, again, Caitlin Chen coming in, great. Again, you miss Nika Mule, you miss Aaliyah Edwards now. Did they have enough? I know we want to believe it's not even game 1 yet. I'm not sitting here saying, well, Ryan, it's already done. No. But again, does it concern you just a little bit? Again, not really. No disrespect to Chen. She's great. I can't wait to see her. I don't know. Could it have been a bigger splash in Ryan's book, or is everything okay? Because think about it. All these injuries, Ryan, and somehow they still go to the Final Four. How they do it, I don't know.
Well, like we kind of talked about before, UConn really isn't the team to bring in the biggest name and the biggest player in the portal. So I think for me, bringing in Caitlin Chen was the biggest move in the offseason, because I think she's just a perfect fit. I think when UConn brings in a player in the portal like Dorka Juhas, and some of the other players that we've got in the past, I think they just bring in the perfect player that fits into the system. And I think that's why it works out so well. I think with some of these other teams, they obviously bring in some of the top players in the portal. And sometimes it doesn't really work out. Sometimes they might not they might not bond with the team as well as some of these players that, they come into UConn, and like I just said, it's like one big family. And Gino and the other coaches know that this player is already going to fit into the system. They have all the attributes that we're already looking for. So I think Caitlin Chen is kind of the perfect player to kind of fill in that loss of Nika Mule. Now, whether I don't think she's going to play as many minutes as Nika did, but nonetheless, I think she'll kind of provide that same type of energy and playing style while she's on the court. So I think Caitlin Chen was pretty much all UConn needed to do in terms of the portal wise.
Well, I had some difficulties this morning, Ryan, and yesterday. We won't get into that, but this does make me smile, and I thank rather Jason a lot for this. Ryan, he said it is way too difficult to perform the calculus on an undefeated season for UConn at the present time. I think the big question is how well will all of these new players gel with the veterans? There are so many variables to this team this year. Peace. P.S. I would be honored to join your show again.
Well, we always thank you, Jason, and we might have to make that happen before the season starts to get you get Jason's final take before we get into the first game. But yeah, luckily with this article that we've been mentioning this morning, I don't really think we have to worry about the team chemistry or the rookies bonding with the veterans. It seems like everything's working out pretty good. So I think that's kind of the perfect article to get everybody ready for the first game. I think that should put a smile on everybody's faces. Because you can't get much better than that in terms of the team chemistry and everybody bonding together.
Jamie said another UConn alum, Nafisa Collier, just took the link and beat the Stewarts Liberty. Winning 4 in a row is pretty awesome. Yeah, we don't get into much WNBA talk on this pod. We should do it more. But Ryan, yeah, it's pretty awesome right now what's going on in the W. A lot of games, and sometimes that's what fans like the most. A lot of games you think this team is going to win, but they don't.
Yeah, I know Nafisa is definitely having a really good season. I do believe she made the Team USA, if I'm not mistaken. We went over that earlier, but I did see last night where she unfortunately suffered the foot injury. So I know she left in the third quarter and didn't return. So hopefully she's okay, because I think she's in the front lining for possibly winning Defensive Player of the Year this season. I know she's having a really good year, so hopefully that injury doesn't affect her too much. But yeah, Minnesota's having a pretty good season so far, and Nafisa's definitely been a big part of that.
All right, 914 Rocky said biggest threat, injuries. That's it. So Ryan, they're feeling pretty confident for in-conference play. I don't know about you. I think I would too. How about this one, Ryan? And we thank Michael Lawson for actually answering our question in the mailbag from the last video. He said, with Paige playing, I'm pretty sure that in the Big East, they will go undefeated. The team I think may come close is Georgetown. If they play well in the conference enough to get selected to the tournament in March, they may cause fits with certain teams that get in. Well, Ryan, just not March Madness, but in conference play, I think Michael Lawson, if I'm reading this correctly, he's thinking Georgetown, UConn #1, Georgetown #2, conference standings.
Well, that would be something if Georgetown could make a little run. I think they could be the dark horse this season, possibly. But I think it is definitely possible that UConn could go back to back years undefeated in the conference. It's pretty crazy to say, but I think it can be done. It's definitely not going to be easy. Like I said, I really it's just hard for me to believe they're not going to struggle at least one game the whole entire season in the conference again. But I definitely think it's possible to make another run at the undefeated.
Hey, Shailen, very quickly. He sent me a picture last night. I was in a drive-through getting some food, and I looked at my phone, and He said, "Hey," he said, "your girl is in DC." And I thought, what? What are you talking about? I opened it up, Ryan. Beckers and AZ Fudd were also recently spotted at Washington's home game in DC against the Las Vegas Aces. And that's according to CT Insider as well. Not only CT, but Dylan. So he sent me that message. I appreciate him notifying me on that. Hey, if I would have known, Ryan, I would have been down there in a heartbeat, but I just was not aware. I'm blaming Ryan for that. He did not make me aware that Beckers and Fudd were coming to town. All right. So anyway, Ryan, let's go ahead. And by the way, it's great, right, to see Fudd and Beckers, all of these young ladies supporting one another. But great to see this picture here of uh, uh, Fudd and Beckers supporting Aaliyah Edwards, right, in the W. A shout out to Eric and Demas, too, in Texas. They wanted me to tell you hello and happy 4th. They're always watching. Listen up, they said, as they were jumping off of their boat into the water yesterday, taking a little dip in the ocean. I know you like that video a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely one way to celebrate the 4th. It definitely looked like they were having a pretty good time out there. So shout out to them.
All right, grades, off-season grades, Ryan. I'm going steady. I'll just spit it right on out to you. A minus. I'll give you A minus. It's always easy saying an A plus for these UConn Huskies. A minus. I think you could make this argument every year just because I'm uncertain of, well, not only the newcomers, but the players that are coming back from injury. I love to believe, and I do, but again, A minus just because of that factor.
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna just give them a flat out A. Like I said, I really don't think there could have been much else they could have done to really improve or anything they could have done better during the off season. I think they're bringing in 3 really talented freshmen, and of course, Sarah Strong being the #1 overall just kind of puts the cherry on top. Getting Caitlin Chen, like I said, I really do believe she's gonna be the perfect fit. And the handful of players coming back, including of course Paige Beckers. So yeah, I really don't think there's much else they could have done better. And of course, with the team chemistry and all this stuff we're hearing about now, it's looking pretty good over here.
Ryan, according to CT Insider, these Huskies had crumble cookie taste tests. They had TikTok dances. They had games, WNBA games together. They had playing cards, learning to crochet, and building Legos. The question is for our subs, what do they want Ryan and I to do on Listen Up to bond more well together, to build that team chemistry? Phil and Ryan on Listen Up.